going to show you how to make iced tea using your iced tea maker. There are two components to your iced tea maker. One is the maker itself, the other is the pitcher. So just to refresh your memory on the parts of the iced tea maker itself, you have the base, which is where the water goes. You have a little basket where the tea goes, and then you have a lid. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is the pitcher. You have to use the pitcher that comes with the iced tea maker. There are two sets of measurements on your iced tea pitcher. I've marked mine in magic marker to make it a little easier to see. One is for water, and it's marked 1, 2, 3 quarts. Right next to it, you have a set of measurements for ice, and that's marked 1, 2, 3 quarts. Well, I want to make a big pitcher of tea this time, so I'm going to use the 3 quarts. And so the first thing I did was fill it up with water up to the mark for 3 quarts. Then I poured it into the reservoir. I'm going to try making this with about 5 bags of iced tea. When I made it with 2 quarts, I did it with 4 bags, and that was just about right. So for this one, for 3 quarts, I'm going to make it with 5 bags. So let me put my 5 bags in. I want that string hanging out. I'm going to put it up here where it goes. Mine has a little dial that says open or closed, and I want to make sure that that's open, and that means that the water can come out here where it goes. And then the lid just goes on top, like so. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do, I've put the water in, the water as measured for 3 quarts. Now I want to fill up the pitcher with ice, and it's going to go to 3 quarts. 3 quarts measurement for the water, 3 quarts measurements for the ice. So I'm going to put you on pause for just a second, and I'm going to fill this up with 3 quarts of ice. Okay, now I've filled up the pitcher up to the 3 quart mark with ice. Now that's about 4 of those, 3 to 4 of the big glasses like McAllister's tea comes in. Okay, so as a reminder, I filled up the water up to here for 3 quarts, poured it into the tea maker. Now I've filled up the ice maker with 3 quarts up to here. Now there's a little slot at the bottom of the pitcher that fits in really tightly with this little tab here. Put slot A and tab B. Now the reason that has to fit in there is because water's going to drip out of here, and we want it to go directly into the pitcher and not drip out on the floor. Okay, I should have plugged that in. Hold on, I'm going to plug it in. I have plugged in my tea maker. I'm going to come around here to the side. If it didn't already turn itself on, which sometimes they can, if the button's already pushed. This one hasn't been. So I'm going to push the button and turn the iced tea maker on. Now in just a few seconds, that water is going to get really hot, and it's going to start dripping down into the pitcher with the ice. And so you just kind of hang tight. Don't go too far from it. You want to watch it and make sure that, you know, it's not dripping off onto the counter, or make sure you don't have a cat jump up there and get burned or something. So we're going to come back in just a minute, and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, the tea maker is through now. I know it's through because it turns itself off when it gets empty. So right there. So you can see this makes more than the amount of the ice you put in there and the amount of water, because it's both of them combined. But that would be about 3 quarts. So it is completed now. I'm going to close this little vent so that when I take this basket out to clean it, it doesn't drip tea all over me. But the tea is finished. I can pull the pitcher back. It comes with its own handy dandy little lid with a screen, so that if I want to pour it into a glass now, all the ice doesn't go dump over into my glass. So again, you've got the reservoir for the water, the basket for the tea, the lid that goes on top. The most important part is to measure properly. I measured the water. I measured 3 quarts. Most days I would probably really only make 2 quarts, but today I made 3. I measured the ice, and I measured it to the 3 quart mark. If I were making 2 quarts, I'd measure it to there. So we're done.